The next subject that I wanted to cover is economics of sumo, and this one is a little different, right? I like amateur sumo is amateur. It truly is amateur. But for the sport to grow, we do need capital because we have to run events, and we like you have to do outreach. You have to like we have my particular club in California, we have technically six big events this year. We are in like a bodybuilding event called Legion. We're doing that, and we have a sumo tournament slash kimono fashion show. We have the SoCal Open that just passed. That's our premier tournament that we run. We are doing a kids free tournament, so it's really just an outreach at like a an autumn festival or something along those lines, or a spring festival. The local Japanese community runs, and so we're doing outreach there. We have a women's only tournament that is really just us doing like a canned food and like Christmas gift toy drive. So we're always trying to think of different things. And this is like within our local, but then in our federation itself, which is uh, an actual nonprofit. It's a 501c, so for American purposes, that makes you tax exempt. And I don't think that they utilize it enough to really get like sponsorships, endorsements, and fundraising and grants. I know that every country does their own thing, but money is important for our sports to grow. And just wanted to know what are you guys doing for that financial aspect? Nice. We'll start with you, Joel.
So just recruitment drives are pretty big for us. But just getting the right people involved and participating. I mean, we want to grow the sport to those, less fortunate, but obviously those who are in a position to utilize opportunities to participate is that's where it's at. So yeah, I think more to getting it involved with the more popular sports and at the school level is really important at this point.
A little bit of behind the scenes. So for me to get all of my teams to Poland, or yeah, to Poland last year, that came out of my own personal nonprofit that I run. So we did a fundraising campaign to get all of our kids to Poland, including chaperones. So that was like a big part because I kids don't have money, and a lot of like kids' parents don't have money. They're working, especially in California, where the price of like just to live is tremendously high. This elective sport isn't exactly a priority. So for us, our passion, me and my wife's nonprofit, was our focus was to get those kids to Poland, which we ended up doing. But again, it's a difficult thing to do, and I know that I think Europe has and not Europe as a whole seems to be um, more together on figuring out fundraising and stuff like that. So, what are you guys doing on your end?
There's within Europe and also within the world, there's a big difference between like some countries who fund sports in the various funding opportunities for sport. I'm not going to talk about government funding because, frankly, focusing on that is a trap. Is a massive trap. Don't get sucked into like, oh, This is where the funding is. Let's go find the funding. Massive mistake. Like, don't have that mindset. If the funding comes, it comes. But there's two ways. There's two things that can be done. One thing nationally and one thing internationally, but they also bleed into a third thing together. So the one thing nationally that must be focused on is numbers, 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 numbers. The quality of quantity, you know, because if you have, okay, I often use this example. In Norway, we are 5.3 million people. The amount of people who are aged between 20 and 40, adult people between 20 and 40, is 1.2 million people. I'm not saying every single one of them are going to do sumo wrestling, but I'm saying I can make 1% of them do sumo wrestling, because you can make 1% of anyone do anything, essentially. And so if 1% of the adult population between 20 and 40 does sumo wrestling, that's 12,000 people. Now, if you have 12,000 adult athletes with their own purses, with their own money, essentially, they don't need to be good. Like, they don't need to be international level athletes, but they are active and they're engaged. 12,000 people with 10 friends each, that's 120,000 people in your fan base. 120,000 people in your fan base. If you go to a TV station saying we're having a national championship and our fan base is 120,000 people, they're going to show it. Then you go to the sponsors. We're going to be on national television. Yeah. So that's the thought process. But I need to find those 12,000 athletes. So you need to create good tournament systems that attract masses of people. Look, if you have 12,000 athletes, that means you're going to have qualifying tournaments for the national championships. You can, after every qualifying tournament, you can have a sayonara party, or a, as we call it, a banquet. And that banquet in itself, you can have a good maybe like a $250,000, in just beer sales alone, if you have 12,000 athletes. And just if in food and drink sales, entry tickets. You can do all this kind of online drive. Hey, got $5, for the world team. Yeah, 10,000 people pitch in. That's a lot of money. So the quality of quantity in terms of fundraising and just sale of merchandise, in sponsorship deals, in TV deals, everything. Look, it's about numbers. It's not about the amount of gold medals you win on the world stage. That doesn't generate revenue. Numbers generate revenue. And so that's the one thing nationally. But when it comes to internationally, to create that opportunity is back to the tournament systems. That's sellable. I had the privilege of playing rugby in New Zealand, and I saw how they structured their national sport. They have layers and layers and layers of good tournament systems where the players play at different levels and exchange experience between different levels. Some of my friends who went on to play professional rugby, they didn't turn pro until they were in their mid-20s, because of the way that they develop athletes, that you feel you have a forward progression, even though you're not on the All Blacks by the time you're 19. So they have, it's a very interesting system. I'm not going to go into detail, but again, having that tournament system, that you have multiple layers of worthy competitions that people can compete in, will retain all these athletes in the sport. It can't just be the World Championships. It can't just be the European Championships. They need to be, and it can't just be these like one-shot opens and then the World Championships. There needs to be layers. There needs to be many layers of success that you can go through. So that's something the sport needs as a whole. And these things together, like a good tournament system with a good quantity, you can sell the TV rights to a tournament system as a whole. Say, not the World Championships, but a World Cup with 4 events. You can sell that you can market that as, like, say, the Six Nations in rugby. Guinness, the brewery, is essentially, it's called the Guinness Six Nations. How much money does Guinness pay for that? A brick of money, and that's the type of commercial. So, like, just recruitment, systemization, and commercialization. Those are the three big things that are going to grow this sport in terms of money. Otherwise, we're going to all be paying out our pocket every year forever. That's the two options, essentially.
That definitely makes sense. It also looks like we lost Joel. but he will be back, I'm assuming. um,